Happy birthday, my son. If only I could have helped you.
What it fucking do? We're about to get a little lit. By a little lit, I mean, oh, fuck my face. By a little lit, I mean a lot of lit. We are going to be making a new X account. Is that lighting on back? So, we're going to start off with this right here. What do you want to see on X? This is like one of the first questions that they ask you, and we're gonna hit it with only one box because you need to have at least one in order to continue. We're just gonna do politics. Now let's see what it gives us. Can I just press next? I don't want to follow anybody. Okay, you know what? If that's the case, this is what I'll do to be fair. I'm gonna follow the President of the United States, and I'm gonna follow fuck it. I might have to follow Obama. Follow Obama. Alright. Two prezzies. Two opposite ends of the spectrum. Music is louder than me. I can fix it. Let me push it. And lower down to like that. Right. How's that? Also, I'm fucking that child right down here. God damn. We're going like that. Boom! It's a more better. Alright. Got it. So, let's see what we got here. You think you've gotten used to it, but you end up crying for the same reason. Okay. I've served on the Homeland Security Committee for the past 3 years. I'm 100% for strong, safe, secure borders and stopping narco-terrorists and cartels from trafficking deadly drugs and human trafficking into America. Fentanyl is responsible for over 70% of U.S. drug overdose deaths, and fentanyl comes from Mexican cartels made with chemical precursors from China and trafficked across the U.S.-Mexico border. Okay, Mexican cartels are primarily and overwhelmingly responsible for killing Americans with deadly drugs. Okay. If U.S. military action and regime change in Venezuela is really about saving American lives from deadly drugs, then why hasn't the Trump administration taken action against Mexican cartels? And if prosecuting narco-terrorists is a high priority, then why did President Trump pardon former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was convicted and sentenced to 45 years for trafficking hundreds of tons of cocaine into America? Ironically, cocaine is the same drug that Venezuela primarily traffics into the U.S. And this is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that shit. That's how you know that's kind of crazy. Right? Is that better? Let me know. But yeah, that's insane. That this is Marjorie Taylor Greene ripping him a new one. Because this is a book. And this is the very second thing to see on my algorithm. Brand new page. Okay, let's open like a new tab. This is the profile. Nothing. Join January 2026. Nothing. 2 following. How? Oh yeah, that's the 2 people I just followed. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the very second thing is Marjorie Taylor Greene's post. How much? 5.3 million views. Okay, anyways, let me finish reading it though. Removing Maduro, this is a clear move for control over Venezuelan oil supplies that will ensure stability for the next obvious regime change war in Iran.
Happy birthday, my son. If only I could have helped you.
And of course, why is it okay for America to militarily invade, bomb, and arrest a foreign leader, but Russia is evil for invading Ukraine and China is bad for aggression against Taiwan? Is it only okay if we do it? I'm not endorsing Russia or China. Do you use an audio mixer? I do for my mic. And I do for my headphones. But like, I just use the default OBS mixer for in here. For in the OBS. Regime change, funding foreign wars, and American tax dollars being constantly funneled to foreign causes, foreigners both home and abroad, and foreign governments, while Americans are consistently facing increasing cost of living, housing, healthcare, and learn about scams and fraud of their tax dollars is what has most Americans enraged, especially the younger generations. Boomers and half of Gen X will cheer on neocon wars and talking points, but the other half of Gen X and majority on down see through it and hate it. America's disgust with our own government's never-ending. With our own government's never-ending military aggression and support of foreign wars is justified because we are forced to pay for it, and both parties, Republicans and Democrats, always keep the Washington military machine funded and going. Fucking BRB. Voice is only coming in my right ear. I indicate if that's just me or not. I'm gonna check it in a second. Let me check the properties, because it shouldn't be anything on my mixer's behalf. Like, it should be good overall. Let's see here. Mike. Yeah, I mean, what if I downmix to mono? Does that make any difference at all to your life? Always keeps Washington military machine funded and going. This is why many in MAGA thought they voted to end. Boy, were they wrong. As the baby boomers slip away both in votes and power, the electoral future will be decided for candidates that focus on American economic populism and promising prosperity for Americans only. As of right now, neither party is offering the solution. Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of slapping. Oh my god. It worked. I did it. Word. See, that's that shit. That's that shit I'm talking about, man. So, MTG, kind of base for this post, not gonna lie. Some random ass shit. The Maduro capture, coupled with the air attacks on Iran's nuclear facility, suggests an extraordinary level of skill, technology, and daring. Precisely the opposite signal from that sent by the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. Chief political analyst, Fox News Channel. Arguments welcome, name callers and verbal abusers blocked. I'm gonna not, right? You know what, matter of fact, I'm gonna give Marjorie Taylor Greene the follow just because I already know that her platform is crazy. I'm gonna have to give it the follow. Alright. Let's see what this is. Hold on, start from the beginning.
Venga por mí. Aquí lo espero en Miraflores. No se tarde en llegar, cobarde.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen.
Jesus Christ. So fucked. I heard that the Venezuelan attorney general for that area said that there was at least 100 casualties. This account is gonna go downhill so fast. Yeah, if I keep liking fucking
Venga por mí. Aquí lo espero.
But so far, that's mainly Republican shit. I mean, I haven't seen, minus a Republican dissenter, I've not seen much so far. Good morning. Don't forget the dawn prayer, my loves. No. Thank you, Emily and Blah, for sharing our mission of helping both ends of the leash. True. Pause of War, Eastern North Carolina. We are a nonprofit. We train veterans, active duty, and first responders to train their companion, therapy, and service dog. Cute. Trump just attacked Venezuela and kidnapped Maduro, which is illegal under U.S. and international law. According to the U.S. Constitution, the president may not initiate an attack on a foreign nation without congressional approval. True. However, Obama did do it. If we're gonna keep it a bean, Obama did that shit too. But kind of look at the 10 year later, what it looks like. You know what I mean? I don't think just because it looks really bad there, it 100% means it's because of Obama. However, that's an American pastime, bro. See? Yeah, exactly. It is. It's how America be American.
Maduro offered everything in this country, all the natural resources. He even recorded a message to you in English recently, offering mediation. What should we do in order to stop that?
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to fuck around with the United States. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Maduro offered
There we go. Happy New Year. Venezuela currently has 303 billion barrels of crude oil reserves, which Trump says the U.S. now controls. Oil prices are trading at 57 a barrel, making Venezuela's total reserves worth 17.3 trillion. Even if the U.S. sells this oil for half of the market rate, that's still 8.7 trillion. In other words, in 12 hours, the U.S. has gained control of oil reserves worth more than the entire GDP of all countries in the world, aside from the U.S. and China. It's 4 times larger than the GDP of Japan. Most people do not realize how much the world just changed. Oil markets will react to this news for the first time on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. The next few days will be critical. This right here is exactly some bullshit. Because if Trump's plan for solving the deficit was just to invade a foreign country and remove their head, is that really what we advocated? That's worth the instability of other countries, you know what I mean, and abuse of their resources. Is our gas really worth that much? I think our gas is worth a considerable amount, but I don't think it's worth that. I think it's worth some trade negotiations and some concessions. But that's crazy. Democrats confused by Venezuelans cheering downfall of nice warm collectivism. What? That doesn't even make sense. A and B, the only videos I've seen of people legitimately cheering like in mass quantities was in Florida, which I don't know how they got that many people to gather together by 12 o'clock noon in support of this act when it happened at 4 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. I don't know how that happened, but in Florida and in Chile. And then if we look up Venezuelan Central Independent News, see what they got. Independent news of Venezuela faces severe government pressure, with outlets like Efecto Cuyo, El Pitazo, and Prodavici often targeted using tactics like resource control and legal harassment to silence critical voices, forcing some journalists to flee or rely on VPNs for survival, despite a landscape where many states lag, blah blah blah. Key independent outlets. Yep. Okay, so let's see what this one says. Let's see what this one says. And let's see what this one says.
Happy birthday, my son. If only I could have helped you.
Okay. Some minutes after 1:50 a.m., explosions in airlines woke everyone up in Caracas, and WhatsApp began to light up across Venezuela sphere. Venezuela sphere is diabolical. If crude oil is cheap, so is heating oil. No, I want oil to be expensive. Oh yeah, true. You do be doing this. Like, you does this. You're in the oil game. So if it's like less per gallon of oil that you have to deliver, then like your overall like revenue is less, right? Or is it like in theory you're going to be selling more oil or whatever to compensate for the lack of revenue from it being cheaper per gallon, right? Alrighty. I think I need to lower this even more. Like, why is this mad loud? Alright. I think that's good. Between roughly 1:50 a.m. and 3 a.m., the U.S. performed a strategic attack hitting different key targets in Venezuela's capital, Caracas. Fuerte Tiuna, a country's main military base, was hit from the air, as well as a cluster from telecom antennas on El Volcan Mountain, the La Carlota Air Base in the heat of the city, and several other targets downtown. Donald Trump claimed that Nicolas Maduro and Celia Flores had been captured and flown in a helicopter out of Venezuela. Additional strikes hit La Guaira, closest port city near Caracas. What? Okay. This was not a coup, it was the United States. We have footage by witnesses of helicopters passing over. The U.S. government claimed responsibility, with Trump himself announcing the attack and the capture of Maduro. Here are some nuggets of T2's press conference on the attack. We are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. How long is that going to take? We don't want to be involved with somebody else getting in and having the same situation that we had for the last long period. True. It's a valid point, but still, I don't think it's within your jurisdiction, right? As just the President of the United States. How am I going to fill Wait, if that much oil actually enters the U.S. reserve, we probably couldn't sell oil. Damn. How am I gonna fill a diesel truck when the oil's 50 cents a gallon? Unless companies don't lower their prices, but that would be stupid. True. Because then people would be like, we have all this oil now, and it literally bailed us out because of like, why am I paying so much for oil still? In which case, they would just get upset at the company. Or the filthy fucking Democrats. Excuse me. We're going to work with the people that are willing to do what's necessary. Okay. So, subordination, aka. Trump said she was handpicked by Maduro and installed before admitting there is a direct channel between her and Washington. He quoted Delcy telling Rubio that she will do whatever the U.S. considers necessary and that she doesn't really have a choice in the current circumstances. Trump's remarks suggest his administration is willing to work with Chavista actors such as Delcy for a period of time. On Maria Corina, Trump said the U.S. hasn't been in contact with her. When reports further inquired about the opposition leader, Trump added, I think it would be very tough on her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support or the respect within the country. She's a nice woman, but doesn't have the respect. Yo, if he's talking about Maria... Oh, my God, bro. Hold on. We'll go NPR. Customers don't know what we pay, but all it would take is one company to say oil is like $2 a gallon and it's over. We charge like $3.15 a gallon right now. Facts. And that's for diesel, you said, right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that she won the election like in a landslide. Like it was like a 70-30 ratio or something like that. So to say that she doesn't have the respect and the support of the people is crazy when they were the ones that literally like voted for her. Like that was the perceived result. Like that was the skew. At least that's what I read. Where's Maduro? I don't really care. Shoot a video in the street in fatigues and fully armed, surrounded by two paramount figures of the repression apparatus. Cabello. His message: we know what to do. We are in charge. Remain calm. Spanish media website The Objective reported Delcy Rodriguez is in Russia, which is now being reported by Reuters. Laura Loomer and Telesur suggest she is in Caracas. Her brother, president of the Chavista-controlled parliament and Maduro's top negotiator, is yet to show up or say anything. Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino is in Venezuela and was the first to brief the public on the attack by invading forces. By 10 a.m., Chavismo is still trying to communicate that they are not collapsing by calling people to show support for the regime in the squares. There are witness reports of F-16s dispatched from the Maracay air base late in the morning. We don't know to what end. So are they fighting back technically then? Is that them saying that they're fighting back? They seem to be surprised to note U.S. aircraft was taken down. The apparent speed with which Maduro was extracted suggests that he was already captured when the U.S. aircraft entered the valley of Caracas. We have no report of the Venezuelan military repealing or engaging in combat. We have reports of wounded military officers being treated in the military hospital. Okay. So she's not assuming the role as Trump suggested in his press conference. She insists that he's still the president. It seems to be a response to T2's presser, probably to show some political control in the country. Okay. Reports from Western Caracas say that the colectivos took over some parts of Caracas where they are strong. The streets are empty. We must expect deployment of colectivos, and especially rumors spread by the regime of colectivos imposing order and hunting for traitors. Okay. That's home heating oil. It's basically diesel. Yeah. About 10 deaths have been reported so far, mostly among military personnel. There are no credible reports of casualties within the regime's chain of command. So, that's that for the Caracas Chronicles. Efecto Cocuyo. Let's see. Donde afrontará proceso judicial 5 de enero. Okay. That's the reporting on the New York Times report. Confirmed, she did say that. Let's see. Where are we at here? Boom. Is that saying the pharmacies? So it is kind of like, it's not just all hunky-dory over there. That's... Wait, so why did we invade Venezuela and kidnap the president? So, there's different angles for this, apparently. So one angle is that he is a dictatorial president who basically was like engaging in fraudulent elections and blah, anti-democracy type vibes. So bad guy, boo. But what's it called? The contention is that Donald Trump didn't legally have the authority to go in there and rip the dude out of his own country when he's the president there, even if it's illegal, because I mean the same could be argued about Vladimir Putin, and he literally gets a red carpet rolled out for him. So that's why it's like, this is weird. And then also it just so happens that Venezuela has one of the biggest oil reserves in the world. After we went in there and did that, Trump basically told the world that we are assuming temporary governmental control over Venezuela until we figure their shit out. Essentially. Essentially. Anyways. Okay. So let's look at the last article. They got the him being transferred is crazy. What the fuck is a TSJ? I don't want to view the satellite map. The Tribunal Supreme Justice of Venezuela ordered this Saturday night that the executive vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, assumes presidential capacity after the American capture of Nicolas Maduro. Okay. So they're not really talking about how the people are handling it in these articles. Not that I can see. What about the life section? Ugh. Well, GG. Anyways. Oh wait, no, that's this one. Okay. So I'm not necessarily confused, I'm just more as like, where is like the evidence of actual Venezuelans cheering for this, and not just like profiles online being like, God bless the USA, thanks Trump. You know what I mean? Funny how we only care about other governments when they have oil, huh? Yeah. That is the trend. Why is Sophie singing K-pop Demon Hunter songs? I don't know what that means. Trump becomes the first U.S. president to bomb 7 countries in 1 year. Is that real? Is that true? Because if so, that's fucking crazy. I raced a cheetah. I don't think so. I don't think you're racing cheetahs out here, dog. Damn, what the fuck? He just gets casually wrecked. No way, that's true. World War II, we bombed a whole continent on the same day. Now that's fair. However, wasn't that like approved by Congress? It wouldn't be like the president doing it. It would be like a bipartisan Congress doing it. This is crazy though. I don't think speed is not running 90 miles an hour. Like, did you see that? Hold on. And he got a head start. Trash. Athena and Briar are at each other's throats. OMG. Much for my American friends today.
This is a message for my American friends watching the news today in English. There is a serious inaccuracy in the coverage. Venezuela is not undergoing a regime change. Venezuela already has a democratically elected president, Edmundo Gonzalez. He is the president. Nicolas Maduro is not the president. He never was. He stole the last election and led a criminal organization linked to terrorism and drug trafficking, El Cartel de los Soles. And today, thanks to the vision and courage of the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, the decisive leadership of the
Marco
President
Rubio.
Donald Trump, and the actions of Secretary of War
I think it
Pete
counts. I mean,
Hegseth,
yeah,
the United States
I can
has
see where
finally
it counts.
recognized a fundamental truth. Protecting our hemisphere from terrorism, drug cartels, and authoritarian ideologies is a matter of national security for the United States. This is a message.
Yeah, I mean, half true. Marco Rubio. What a waste, man. Ah, well, take care of yourself, my crazy one. What is this? Sorry, but my account's not for that. Seriously? Yeah. And I'm gay. LOL. No, I'm just kidding. I can't believe we black-bagged a narco-dictator without considering all available options first, like paying an NGO $100 billion to put a queer musical theater production in Caracas. You're an idiot. Stop being Stop expecting healed behavior from unhealed people. It's stupid, sure. When Hugo Chavez took over Venezuela and mocked America and naturalized our assets there, U.S. presidents did nothing. When Maduro took over and helped flood America with drugs and criminal illegal aliens, U.S. presidents did nothing. Trump did something. Are our assets in Venezuela? Like, did we ever own that stuff? Were we like, yeah, this is ours. We are established here. This is our land. This is our water. And these are our resources? Or is that just a bunch of bullshit? See that thing we just did to Venezuela? That's what I want done to Minneapolis, Seattle, Sacramento, Austin, Boise, Columbus, Detroit, Madison, Nova, North Virginia, I'm guessing. Raleigh, Atlanta, Lewiston, Chicago. You're an idiot. So you want all of our major cities to get bombed and the governor and or mayor to get basically fucking captured via military? Like, you are retarded. That's probably TOS, but Jesus Christ. Giving aid to Venezuela and just assuming ownership of their resources is two different things, though, right? Man, I miss conservatism. I miss all the things conservatism didn't conserve. So, airstrikes. I'm not. It's necessary. Not kidding. Yes, and I'm not. Yes, I'm not kidding. No. If that's what it takes, it worked on Move in Philadelphia. Yo. People are so fucking cooked. X is cooked. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is just hyper high key, like, right wing echo chamber. I would support this. I haven't even watched Stranger Things, but he just looks like he would be a good scarecrow. U.S. captures Venezuela's president. Yeah, blah blah. Elon Musk, go fuck yourself. All your takes are bad. Terrible takes, every single one. Ted. U.S. takes Venezuela, Russia takes Ukraine, China takes Taiwan, Israel takes Gaza, builds a Miami Strip together with the U.S., Europe left behind, falls apart in the coming years, Russia expands more, U.S. takes Greenland. I think that's some cap. I mean, I don't think we can ever assume control of resources. I mean, I think if it falls within the borders of your country, right, you assume control of those resources to an extent. or like maybe not you as a government, but like the people that live in that area or whatever that operate on those resources and identify themselves as like nationals of this country, I guess that would resort to them being called, or like the resources being called like our resources, quote unquote. That's colonialism, yeah. I mean, that's what America's getting accused of right now. It's colonialism. Or at the very least, occupation to some like a military or governmental occupation capacity, not necessarily like not like the same as like Israeli settlers or whatever, like literally running into Palestinian territory and just like taking homes. Like, that's not what I mean. Alex Jones says the Venezuela operation is possibly set up meant to lead to Maduro making a deal to expose the election fraud and drug dealing that the Democrats, the Pelosi's, the Clintons, and the Bushes are involved in. Oh yeah, I mean, duh, we've been doing that. What, this Alex Jones business? Because that's something else. That's crazy. The election fraud and drug dealing that the Democrats, the Pelosi's, the Clintons, and the Bushes are involved in. LOL. The entire U.S. Air Force has disabled virtually all flight tracking responders. Oh, that's dope. That was 20 hours ago. So that was... literally right after the bombings, then? It's 24 hours ago would be... Oh, no. So yeah, that would be during the bombings they did that, yeah. This. Strikes be like, I want to actually see the comments. I don't know why I keep clicking that. How are they just flying the USA? Dictator, some blah blah. Drive a flight today. You're not impacted, probably. Not 3 days into 2026 and a new war has begun. True. Announced to the rest of the world right now. Bullshit. Wakey my ass. It's about to be a movie and then it's it's fucked up. Oh my god, that's wreck. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. I do be stitious. Holy crap. Dude, someone needs to take Trump's fucking phone away, bro. Jesus Christ. Forbes. Venezuelan president was captured by... Fucking goddamn it, that's not what I wanted to fucking goddamn... It's 10 hours ago. I don't want... 10 hours ago, bro. And Chinese firms are producing oil in Venezuela, so how do they get impacted, right? Because they own stuff in Venezuela too. Trump suggests Venezuela oil exports to China will grow. China takes 80% of Venezuela's exports of oil. Damn. Venezuela began listing its oil prices in Chinese yuan in September 2017 as a move to counter U.S. sanctions, aiming to de-dollarize its economy. Through the actual market, still largely operates in dollars, and the yuan price often serves as a reference, with China as a major buyer. He wanted to escape the U.S. financial system. Targeted. Fuck. Another one bites the dust. China probably wanted us to do that, LOL. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. How does this impact China? That's what I fucking was supposed to type. World reacts to U.S. strikes, blah, 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 blah. Reported that the U.S. launched military strikes on Venezuela, and Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that the U.S. has successfully carried out a large blah, blah, blah. Answer. China is deeply shocked by and strongly condemns the U.S.'s blatant use of force against a sovereign state in action against its president. Such hegemonic acts of the U.S. seriously violate international law and Venezuela's sovereignty and threaten peace and security in Latin America and the Caribbean region. China firmly opposes it. We call on the U.S. to abide by international law and the purposes and principles of the UN Charter and stop violating other countries' sovereignty and security. China said, fuck that, brother. Chinese oil is probably like, how's that going to play out? But the Chinese government as a whole issued this statement tonight? Or yesterday? Tonight? Technically yesterday? They're in the future, I guess. They are one to talk. Ask Taiwan how they feel about that. Facts. I agree. I agree. But did China go into Taiwan and take Taiwan's, like, lead official? President Lai Ching-te, William Lai, the 8th President of the Republic of China, who serves as head of state, commander-in-chief, and chief diplomat representing the nation and leading its government. The 8th President of the Republic of China. What the fuck are you talking about? Eighth President of the Republic of China. He went to Harvard, LOL. President of what, bro? President of Taiwan? Is Taiwan already considered part of China? How is he the president of China? Because I'm pretty sure it's Xi Jinping. Yep. Who has been the General Secretary of the Chairman of the Central Military Commission and thus a paramount leader in China since she's also served as the President of China. So what the fuck are we talking about right now? They took all Taiwan. China doesn't even acknowledge that Taiwan exists. The Republic of China is Taiwan. President of the People's Republic of China. Oh, so wait. This is... Can I see a... Let's see this informational video from 2022.
When it comes to how the government of the People's Republic of China works,
2023.
people generally know not that much. I mean, we all know who Xi Jinping is, and we all know how well China tends to rank on the various democracy indexes, but how exactly is the Chinese government structure? How does it work? How do they get stuff done? Like, the US has a president and a Congress and all that, while the UK has a prime minister and a parliament and all that stuff. But, as you might suspect, China has a very different political system.
I see.
So, what does this all look like in China? This video was brought to you by Endel. China's government is classified as a unitary one-party socialist republic. Now, let's unpack this for a bit of context. A unitary state is a state where political power lies first and foremost in the national government, as opposed to federal states, whose political power comes from being a union of different subnational entities. Essentially, power is distributed from the top down rather than from the bottom up. If you know something about international politics, think of maybe the UK as an example of a unitary state and the US or Germany as examples of a federal state. Oh, by the way, because a lot of people commented this on my European microstates video from a year ago, state can refer to a country and a type of subdivision. I really hate the practice that I like to call knowledge shaming, but I also seriously can't believe how many people seem to miss this. Anyway, one party is essentially what it says in the tip.
Knowledge
One
shaming.
party's in charge, and only one party realistically can be in charge. That doesn't mean there aren't actually any parties aside from the Chinese Communist Party, though. There are actually quite a few. However, the CCP holds a monopoly over true power within the country. Socialist? Well, that's an argument with Ben Shapiro that I'm not really in the mood for. And finally, Republic is also a convoluted term that someone else, possibly named JJ McCullough, could make a whole video about, and that you could even watch once this video's over. China's government is based in the northern Bay capital, Jing. In order to fully understand the whole system, though, we need to understand not just the structure of the government itself, but also that of the Chinese Communist Party, as all institutions in China, from the national level all the way down to those serving individual villages, ultimately report to the party. The title of General Secretary of the Communist Party and President of the People's Republic of China are different titles. However, given the CCP's dominance over government, these are generally held by the same person at any given time. Starting at the top, Xi Jinping, as of this video, currently fills both the aforementioned roles, working alongside the 7-member Standing Committee of the Politburo. These other 6 members, while in practice under the authority of Xi, working alongside the 7-member Standing Committee of the Politburo, the held by the same person at any given time. General Secretary of the Communist Party and President of the People's Republic of China are different titles. However, given the CCP's dominance over government, these are generally held by the same person at any given time. Starting at the top, Xi Jinping, as of this video's writing, currently fills both the aforementioned roles, working alongside the 7-member Standing Committee of the Politburo. These other 6 members, while in practice under the authority of Xi, still play an important role in national politics. The Politburo, a Soviet-style portmanteau for political bureau, is the main decision-making entity of the party, largely for the purposes of overseeing the party's decisions. The Politburo's members consist of the party's 25 top members, 7 of whom of course form the Politburo Standing Committee. These members are generally allies of Xi Jinping, and many also hold key roles in regional governments or the military. Xi Jinping, however, is merely the head of state, with the head of government being Premier Li Keqiang. As such, he is the head of the State Council, also known as the Central People's Government, a 35-person body filling the same role as that of a cabinet, with many of its members in charge of one of 26 different constituent departments. These departments include ministries, such as those for foreign affairs or transport or commerce, though also including the People's Bank of China, the National Audit Office, and the 3 commissions on development and reform, ethnic affairs, and health. The State Council, however, is often understood as one of the 3 branches of the People's Republic's government, alongside the Chinese Communist Party and the People's Liberation Army, led indirectly by the CCP. The PLA is under the control of the Central Military Commission, itself part of the Communist Party. No, guys, you'll never guess who the chairman of the Central Military Commission is. The legislative body, equivalent to a parliament or congress, is the National People's Congress. The NPC holds nearly 3,000 seats, 2/3 of which are held by the Communist Party, with the other third being reserved for technical experts and representatives from any of 8 other political parties. However, these parties do not serve as the opposition, and must ultimately submit to the leadership of the Communist Party. While in theory the NPC votes on policies put forth by the Politburo, in practice their approval is something more of a rubber stamp. The NPC, however, only meets in full to pass legislation during a 2-week period every year, and thus most of the legislation on a given day is passed by the Standing Committee, elected from the members of the NPC. Although considerably smaller, this body still has 175 seats, which actually seems a little weird considering it's the Standing Committee. Now here's an interesting fact. China does actually do elections, though not exactly in the way democratic countries do elections. So how do these elections work? Find out after a brief but hopefully funny word from our sponsor. We've all been there before, trying to sleep or relax or analyze soundscapes to help you better than traditional playlists soothing soundscapes. Time to learn about how China... Those who are members of the Chinese Communist Party, encompassing a membership of around 90 million, are able to vote for their local People's Congresses. From there, those elected to local People's Congresses vote for those to serve in higher levels of People's Congresses, with the National People's Congress eventually electing the State Council and the President, making for a very hierarchical system indeed. This doesn't mean just anyone can make it to Beijing though, as the candidates who can run are subjected to intense scrutiny by local election leaders. China is divided into 31 subdivisions, consisting of 22 provinces, 4 municipalities, basically cities on the same level as provinces, although slightly different, and 5 autonomous regions, with the addition of the 2 special administrative regions. The governors of the provinces and the autonomous regions, as well as the mayors of the municipalities, are appointed by the national government, with the consent of the NPC, though Hong Kong and Macau are allowed to choose their own chief executives, within reason. Provinces are led first and foremost by a provincial committee, led by a CCP committee secretary, alongside the province's governor. While these 2 offices are thought to be more or less on the same footing, The secretary is, more often than not, the de facto highest ranking person in any given provincial governments, with the governor right behind. As some of these provinces, of course, can rival countries as big as Japan and Mexico in terms of population, though, logically they are divided into cities, counties, and autonomous prefectures. The 5 autonomous regions are essentially special subdivisions for non-Han ethnic groups. Those 5 including Tibet for the Tibetans, Xinjiang for the Uyghurs, Inner Mongolia for the Mongolians within China, Ningxia for the Hui, essentially Chinese-speaking Muslims, and Guangxi for a group known as the Zhuang, who speak a Thai Kadai language, more similar to Thai. These regions generally hold certain autonomy when it comes to local government legislation. Unfortunately, however, these regions, most infamously the first 2 listed, are also infamous for the human rights abuses that have been inflicted against their main ethno-religious groups. Something I really can't avoid at least mentioning, if I'm to remain neutral. Back in Beijing, the National People's Congress meets in a building known as the Great Hall of the People, on the western side of Tiananmen Square, the same place where the National Congress of the Chinese Communist Party takes place every 5 years. The Congress meets over a roughly 1-week period in October or November in a year ending in 2 or 7, and is where top leaders meet to discuss important policy changes, approve membership of the Central Committee, and a whole bunch of other nerd stuff that affects the leadership of one of the most powerful countries in the world. The last time I covered the structure of a country's government about a year ago, wait, it was over 2 years ago? My god, this COVID time. I swear it literally feels like we're just starting 2021. Anyway, 2 years ago, I talked about the government of Germany, and this one definitely posed a few more challenges than that one, not just due to China's size or how differently its government works from Western governments, but also the fact that China is a lot more controversial than Germany. Nowadays, at least. Particularly in knowledge to all the recent headlines I'm sure you've come across. As I intend for my videos to be as apolitical as humanly possible, though still describing things as accurately as I can, this video is merely intended to be an overview of the basic structure of how China's government and the Chinese Communist Party work. And to that, I hope I was able to at least help you understand the whole topic on a bit of a deeper level than before.
I'm not Donald Trump is hilarious. I see. So in conclusion, this is cap. Alright, back to what I was reading. Also, this is crazy. Venezuela joined the BRICS? Oh no, they didn't. Venezuela accounts for less than 1% of U.S. cocaine. The U.S. supports Saudi Arabia, which has 0 elections. True. Russia, China, and Iran are already denouncing this as armed aggression. China is Venezuela's biggest oil customer. They're losing billions. Every nation considering de-dollarization just got the message. Challenge the dollar and we will bomb you. But here's the problem. The message might accelerate de-dollarization, not stop it. Because now every country in the global south knows what happens if you threaten dollar hegemony. They're realizing the only protection is to move faster. The time is insane. Oh my god!
Something that America is not behind you. This ain't like the Afghan war and the Iraqi war, where you got to come home and be celebrated as a hero, have romantic movies made for you in Hollywood. Nah, America is like what the fuck right now. So understand, if this ever I hope this gets to some fucking Navy dudes. If you are in the Navy, if if you are in the Air Force and you are behind the bombing of Caracas, Venezuela, America is not behind you. You will not be celebrated as a hero. You're a piece of shit. You are a piece of shit for following orders from fucking old, decrepit, corrupt men who are fucking over all of Americans right now. And now they're fucking over Venezuelans. America is not behind you, U.S. military. We are not behind you. You will not be celebrated. You have the freedom to turn down orders.
This guy going crazy. Pay close attention to those glasses.
Your army. Oh, wait a minute. You don't have an army. I guess that means you need to shut the up. That's what I do if I don't have no army. I would shut up. Shut the up. You win? You have a problem with that? You know what you should do? You should sanction me. Sanction me with your army. Oh, wait a minute. You don't have an army. I guess that means you need to shut the up. That's what I do if I don't have no army. I would shut up. Shut the up.
They redacted the dog fit. LOL, that's crazy. Yeah, nobody's flying into Venezuela right now. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Damn. Colombia got the influx. Look at Colombia right here. Look what happens to Colombia. Hold up. Let us store it over. Look what happens right here. Yup, it gets crazy. Also, the flights out of Miami is kind of ridiculous. You see that shit? Jeez, that's great. Nobody's going to Aruba. Oh, some flights to Aruba. Some flights. One flight flew through. You saw that one flight go through? They were like, fuck it, we ball. I want to know what that one fucking... Hold on, let's see it again. Yeah, right here, boom. What was that? Fucking 3 o'clock in the morning? 4 o'clock in the morning? So... Oh, that was UTC, so... Poorly aged things, me and the boys on the way to war because Taylor Swift and Beyonce told a bunch of uninformed white chicks to vote for Kamala. LOL, that did age super poorly. I'm not even gonna lie. My statement on President Trump's actions in Venezuela, Bernie Sanders. You know what, Bernie? You getting a follow. Alright. Because the algorithm right now is crazy. listen, if this is in Venezuela, then cool. Fell for it again award. Iraqi celebrate end of Saddam's rule. LOL, true, that does be happening exactly like this. This is a new Egypt. Nation exalts as Mubarak quits. Iraqis celebrate end of Saddam's rule. Looting breaks out in Baghdad while combat continues in the north. Gaddafi is dead. Tripoli rejoices. They will enjoy freedom. You utter simpleton. This page doesn't exist. Bet. Now tell them to leave the USA is so fucking ugly. Disgusting behavior. Nice. Dude with his hands in his pockets. Walking next to a quote unquote like narco terrorist. Yeah, so Jeb Bush, this guy's claiming, is linked to fucking... Oh my god. 5 years following the caravans of illegal aliens all over South America. Here's why President Trump's military action is so important for U.S. scrutiny. So, security, whoops. Second unjustified war in my lifetime. This war is illegal. It's embarrassing that we went from the world cop to the world bully in less than 1 year. There's no reason for us to be at war with Venezuela. I don't think we're at war with them, to be honest. The White House official account just dropped an unedited.
Venga por mí. Aquí no esperan Miraflores. No se tarde en llegar. Cobarde.
And now, if you don't know, now you know.
It's so fucking cringe. I don't like this guy. Oilfield Rando. Hate this guy. True. Don't want to hear your voice. Don't want to see you. The members of the organization in their international relations shall refrain from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state or in any other manner inconsistent with the purpose of the United Nations. Article 2, Paragraph 4. gonna add that to the notes. To the fucking notes. Where are my notes at? Okay. We're gonna leave that there. The true size of Venezuela. Big piece of Canada, looks like.
On average, 2 a week. In Washington, our capital, we don't have that anymore. A long period of time, 6, 7 months, we used to have 2. On average, 2 a week. In Washington, our capital, we don't have that anymore. But a long period of time, 6, 7 months, we used to have 2. On average, 2 a week. In Washington, our capital, we don't have that anymore. A long period of time, 6, 7 months, we used to have 2. On average, 2 a week. In Washington, our capital, we don't have that anymore. A long period of time, 6, 7 months.
Idiot, stupid, low IQ take right here. Like, what do you mean Dems just hate America? Like, unironically, I want our dollars to be spent here. And, like, in us bombing shit. Not only are we using our resources to do so, but we're spending the money to send the people to use the resources to do so. Like, we don't just fly military places for free. Like, that's not how that works. And military people don't just go places for free. At the end of the day, they get fucking paid. Base take, maybe?
MAGA was a damn lie. Donald Trump just launched a full-scale war against Venezuela without congressional approval after promising the American people no new wars. This administration is clearly abusing power, and it's up to Congress to hold the president, to hold the executive office accountable. My name's Kyle Sweetser, and I'm running for United States Senate here in Alabama because I believe that this administration is abusing power, and I believe that the executive office needs to be reined in general. We do not need to be going to war as a country while the entire American population is in the dark about why we are doing so. It's unconstitutional. We deserve the truth.
More Republican fucking slurping. Well, this did happen on CNN. It was during their live coverage of the Russian invasion on Ukraine. LOL, dude. That's fucking funny as shit, though. Oh my god. We're sorry that happened. No new stupid wars yet. He's starting one with Venezuela without congressional approval. I don't. Here's the thing, is that like, do I think that Venezuela is gonna declare war on the United States? I don't really think so. And I don't think the United States declared war on Venezuela. They attacked the shit out of them, though. Like, that in and of itself is an observable truth. They attacked the shit out of them illegally on some surprise motherfucker, some fries motherfucker, disguise motherfucker, realize motherfucker, we then guys motherfucker. But alas, I don't think it was like a war. People can't afford groceries, millions are losing health care, but this is where his focus is. This is unconstitutional, not what the American people asked for. Yes, it is technically unconstitutional and internationally illegal according to the articles of the United Nations. So, there's that. Right? So, like, now, taking the American lens off real quick. Like, our leader is technically, like, an international criminal or whatever that needs to get, like, or not criminal because he hasn't been tried yet, but he's definitely a what's the word, a perpetrator, I mean, they would call him a war criminal, right? Because Benjamin Netanyahu wasn't tried either, and he's labeled as a war criminal by the international courts, right? So that would be like kind of the same thing. We'll see though. Some interesting stuff. In conclusion, default Twitter account, if you make a new Twitter account, it is like very inherently like 80% right-leaning content, 20% left-leaning content. If you pick only politics as your like thing of interest, and if you, because this is what I did, is I followed President Trump and former President Obama. Those were the only two people I followed, and I went to go see what the algorithm looked like, and it was literally like 80% right-wing speakers and 20% dissent, and it wasn't even like it was majority non-congressional people. It was like Bernie Sanders, Jasmine Crockett, but then it was like just regular accounts with a decent amount of followers, and then Marjorie Taylor Greene on the dissent, and that was it. And she's like still a Republican, so at the end of the day, like, it's 80% right-wing media as just like the default when you follow nobody, when you just make a Twitter account, when you're not formally engulfed in all this bullshit beforehand. So, in conclusion, don't make a new Twitter account. Don't do that. It is like not good for your mental sanity. Not one bit. But we will react to more of this anyways. But yeah, that word. Big fucking big V's.